Okay, welcome to my presentation on wellness and the rising cost of education. My name is James Russell, and this is a presentation for the IDS-402 Wellness class. We're going to start out by looking at wellness, defining wellness, and looking at how wellness is present in our day-to-day lives. Once I define wellness so we all are on the same page, I'll get into how the cost of education influences wellness and vice versa. And then once we cover that, I'm going to lay out a plan as to how to solve this, because this is certainly something that needs to be addressed in our lifetime. So let's start with the introduction. So what is wellness? Wellness is different than physical health. It is more holistic and involves a lot more than physical health, although the two are sometimes used interchangeably. After my research, I have defined wellness as the ability to achieve physical well-being while achieving one's full potential, establishing meaningful social relationships, and finding fulfillment in life. So let's look at some social behaviors that we see in our lives that relate to wellness. Americans accept working out and eating well and seeing a doctor regularly to be most important to wellness, but really those are just related to physical health. Wellness is far beyond physical health, as we know. It spans 8 dimensions, which I'll get into a little later, such as intellectual, emotional, and occupational. So these are things that we need to look at when we define wellness. So you can see here that there are 8 dimensions of wellness. The physical one is on the bottom left, so if we add to physical well-being, there's also the intellectual component, which is simply just your abilities to use your brain and your individual talents. The environmental wellness is a combination of both the physical environment in which you exist and also how you treat it, and also I would add that it's also your kind of your family, your neighborhood, your demographics, stuff like that, the environment that you're in on a smaller scale, because that doesn't impact the course of your life. Emotional wellness, moving forward to emotional wellness, that is how you deal with your feelings. You could relate it to physical wellness because an emotion is simply just a chemical reaction in your brain, but there are other factors that contribute to that, as far as thinking and coping with emotions and your ability to do that effectively. Financial wellness, which we'll talk a lot about in this presentation, I would define as a combination of financial literacy with also your financial situation, your financial state. There's social wellness, which is all based on your relationship, friends, family, spouse, and how fulfilling you see that. Also spiritual wellness, which is religion could be spiritual wellness, but if you're not a religious person, just having a sense of purpose and a meaning in life. And then occupational wellness, finally, is just the satisfaction you get out of what you're doing during the day, whether that be school or participating in a career or pursuing a career, and the fulfillment you get from that. So my topic that I thought was most important for the wellness course was looking at the factors that support or challenge wellness. In the United States, there is a high rates of obesity, teen pregnancy, risky behavior, violence, and poverty that are the main contributors. People have studied the main contributors that have been challenging wellness in the United States. But there are a lot of factors that are counteracting that, such as social welfare and progressive action, as well as wellness initiatives. For example, in New York City, there are higher life expectancies due to some public policies, and in Philadelphia, the Healthy Corner Store Initiative was put forth to promote better eating habits in stores. And historically, we've seen that aggressive action has gotten results. I'm reminded of the Industrial Revolution and the labor laws that came after that. We don't have child labor anymore, or 15-hour work days normally. So these are both factors that challenge and support wellness are very important before you can start to pursue a wellness. I also mentioned social practices and also progressive changes. So some more examples of that would be tobacco reform. People now know a lot more about tobacco than they did 100 years ago, and tobacco, the sale of it in the market for it is a lot different as a result. There's also environmental consciousness, and that's on the government level where there's a lot of regulation, which is good, and also people are just holding the environment in a new regard, trying to treat it better. And also smart eating. People are putting more thought into what they're eating, as far as, we have organic and gluten-free options and stuff like that. So those are some results that we've seen, some changes recently. Now, I'm an accounting and finance major, so if we look at it through my lens, financial wellness is a huge topic that I could go on and on about. But the most important topic in financial wellness, I would say, is of the affordability of healthcare. That's something that's debated widely in our political system, and we can all agree that it's not perfect and it needs to be addressed very soon. People, if they can't afford healthcare, may die if it comes to that. There's also, I talked about financial literacy. That's just knowing, you don't have to know advanced financial concepts that you would learn getting a finance degree, but it has to do more with personal financial planning, planning for the future, the use of debt, retirement, getting ample insurance for your assets, stuff like that. I feel that financial literacy is not improving as time goes on. And the last thing is economic equality, which affects a lot of things, but it affects wellness because people have to work longer hours to make ends meet, and that we just got into the topics that support and challenge wellness. We'll get into kind of what a busy schedule will do for you in terms of wellness. So some of the positive and negative factors influencing our wellness, this is basically, we know that the 8 dimensions impact the course of our lives. And I think it's important that we understand what's driving our wellness. A lot of people have a busy schedule, and a lot of the things that, will be laid out in a lot of our presentations about living well involve an investment in time and resources. So if you have a busy schedule, or you don't have the resources, or you have familial obligations, sometimes you have to put other people's well-being above your own. Also, what supports wellness to counteract this? Well, there's a lot of workplace culture that has to do with work-life balance that I think is very beneficial. Also, public policy, which we talked about before, helps this a lot, and also wellness programs. There's a lot of wellness programs that are being put forth by insurance companies where people are able to establish a plan of action to improve their wellness in exchange for lower insurance premiums. So these are all things that are important to consider. Now, if we look in terms of emerging technologies, there are a few things that we see in our day-to-day life. Number one is the device called the Fitbit, and this is actually this device, and there are similar ones too. This device will measure the steps that you take in terms of your physical activity, as well as a million other things. It has built-in workouts, and it'll analyze your vital signs. These are really beneficial for people who might not know how to exercise. Also, meal planning apps that establish ways people can start to incorporate more healthy choices into their diet and practically planning them, and also budgeting apps that will pull data from your bank statements or debit card transactions digitally to analyze your spending and quantify how to meet your financial goals.